Welcome to 411 Now. My name is Will. I am an independent crime journalist here behind the content on 411 Now, and I'd like to welcome you. To all my returning viewers and subscribers and supporters out there, thank you very much to each and every one of you. You will never know just how much I appreciate each and every one of you being here every week to support me as we get the truth out there and we seek justice for those who have been harmed. And for all of you, again, thank you. My heart goes out to each and every one of you, and thank you. Well, here we are. A lot of people thought that this day wouldn't ever come, that Josh Duggar would somehow escape any kind of penalty for what he has done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he has now been found guilty of the two felonies that were charged against him. One, for receiving child pornography, and the second felony for possession of that actual child pornography. The maximum sentence on each charge is 20 years in prison. So, unlike, and unfortunately, a lot of mainstream media outlets have misinformed themselves and their viewers on what the maximum penalty is. He's looking at a maximum penalty of 40 years in prison. Now, when it comes to the federal prison system and earning good time or reduction of time, they don't really necessarily have what you call a standardized good time off of your actual sentence. He can do some things to mitigate the actual total length of sentence that he is given. There is very little deduction of time that can be earned by an inmate off of their actual sentence. Sure, there are some things that he can do to mitigate the actual total length of sentence. Basically, make amends to those victims, admit to each and every one of the crimes that he has done, and mitigate it by getting a small reduction in time by admitting each and every single one of the actual allegations and crimes, even if he hasn't been convicted of it. It would show in good faith to the prison system that he is trying to turn over a leaf and do the right thing for the first time in his pathetic life. Josh Duggar. If I had to put a bet on it, I would say that Josh Duggar is probably going to get 30 years in federal penitentiary for his crime that he has been convicted of. Now, Arkansas does not have a federal penitentiary that houses sex offenders. They do have a federal prison system in the state of Arkansas, but they do not have a federal prison system in the state of Arkansas that handles sex offenders. Decide one of two possible options for Josh to do his time. First one is, here is your 35 years in prison. You will serve your 35 years in prison at Arkansas State Penitentiary Level 2. You will do your entire 35 years there. Same thing, he still will not get any reduction. He is underneath the policy of the federal government. If he serves his time in a state prison, they house him for them. If they house him, he doesn't get any special privileges or time off on it. He's underneath the guidelines of the federal prison system, so he would not earn additional time off or get reduction or be released early because of COVID or anything. He would be underneath, again, the federal system, but just be doing his time in a state prison. The second option is they send his butt, I was thinking of another word, they send his butt over to either Texas or Oklahoma. Both of those states have a federal penitentiary that house a sex offender housing unit. I don't care who you are. You don't hurt children in my book. As a father of two, the one thing that I've always been here for is to protect my children from that section of society out there that wish to do harm to them. Josh deserves nothing. He should get nothing at all. Put him in a room, throw away the key, and let's forget about him. But Josh Duggar, 4 months from now, if there are no delays, he will actually have his sentencing. Why so long? Well, the federal court system is backed up even more than the state system is. And there are far, far fewer judges, federal judges out there. Now, so the system is clogged. And the wheels are going to turn very slow. But between now and then, of the actual hearing and sentencing, between now and the sentencing date for Josh Duggar, they're going to do three things. One, they're going to figure out what his actual risk is. Is he a flight risk? Does he know how to mastermind a breakout of prison? All this stuff goes into it for every single inmate, not just Josh Duggars of the world, but every single inmate. They do a complete evaluation, an assessment of risk is what it's called. The second thing that they're going to do is they're going to look at what kind of medical treatment Josh Duggar is going to require now and going forward into the future. That goes into it as well as part of the assessment. And the third is what kind of actual reform, classes, or structure is he going to need. This is why you can't just take the Josh Duggars of the world and stick him in a state prison and say, yeah, you can do your 35 years there. They have to have the federally mandated structure that is there for that type of inmate. Now, that's the way it is. If you don't like it at all, I suggest, if you're an American citizen and you have the right to vote, that you inform yourself on the candidates as they come up for election. Because your votes are what put these things into place. We put the people into place. They then wrote these bills. They voted on them, and they passed them. It's you and I who are to blame if we do not like the current structure that is there. So Josh Duggar, he's going away for probably the rest of his life. If he gets a 40-year sentence, that's pretty much a death sentence, because the average inmate doesn't last or make it 40 years in prison. But the Josh Duggars of the world, they can't just be put anywhere. So that's where we're at. And his sisters, who he actually molested, can now rest assured that they know that Josh Duggar will never hurt another child. In case you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Duggar had access to 21 nieces and nephews. Did Josh Duggar molest any of them? I don't know. Well, thank you very much for joining me today for this video. Again, if you're new here, I would really appreciate if you check the card out that's listed above, or in the video description, I have the link to one of the other videos in the Josh Duggar series. I also, would appreciate it if you'd like to give it a thumbs up, click that bell icon, do all those good YouTube-y things. Thank you again. And you stay safe out there.